Thanks for staying with us. You're watching WION The World is One, and this is Speed News. Let's start with all the top stories making headlines today. US President Donald Trump has hinted that talks aimed at ending the war in Iran could resume this week. Speaking to the New York Post, Trump said US is more inclined to visit Pakistan for next round of talks. He suggested that second round of talks could happen over the next 2 days. First round of talks in Islamabad failed after both sides did not reach an agreement over various issues, including Iran's nuclear enrichment rights. Trump has since imposed a counter blockade on the Hormuz Strait, but also claimed that Iran wants a deal badly. US Vice President Vance said there is a deep mistrust between the US and Iran that cannot be resolved overnight. The Vice President also noted that Iranian negotiators wanted to make a deal and says he feels very good about the current progress. US military said it stopped 6 ships from sailing out of Iranian ports during first 24 hours of a naval blockade. Ship tracking data earlier indicated at least 3 ships passed through the Strait of Hormuz despite blockade. Pakistan President Asif Ali Zardari tasked Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif and Foreign Minister Ishaq Dar to remain proactively engaged with the United States and Iran to ensure the sustainability of the ongoing peace process between them. A statement issued by the Pakistan People's Party said a meeting was held between the President and the Prime Minister at Ayan-e-Sadr today, with Deputy PM Dar in attendance as well. US Navy-guided missile destroyers are among the assets executing a blockade mission impacting Iranian ports. The blockade is being enforced impartially against vessels of all nations entering or leaving coastal areas or ports in Iran. A typical destroyer has a crew of more than 300 sailors that are highly trained in conducting offensive and defensive maritime operations. Firefighters battled major blaze that engulfed facade of a residential building in Albania capital, forcing evacuation of residents. About 80 responders and 13 firefighting engines were deployed in the firefighting operations. No fatalities have been reported so far. Israel and Lebanon held direct talks at the ambassador level at US State Department in Washington, D.C. A US statement said the two sides have agreed to launch direct talks at a mutually decided time and venue. The countries do not have diplomatic relations, and the last direct high level between them took place in the year 1993. The Israeli and Lebanese envoys held more than 2 hours of talks mediated by US Secretary of State Marco Rubio. During the talks, Israel said it wanted to disarm all non-state terror groups in a reference to Hezbollah. Lebanon called for a ceasefire and measures to address its humanitarian crisis. Gaza Civil Defense Agency said that a toddler was among 10 people killed in separate Israeli strikes in the northern part of Gaza. Violence continues despite a ceasefire in the Gaza war that came into effect on October 10th, with both Israel and Hamas regularly accusing each other of violations. Spokesman for the Civil Defense Agency, which operates as a rescue service under Hamas authority, said 4 people were killed, including a child, and several others were injured in a strike targeting a police vehicle in Gaza City. In Lebanon, 3 Hezbollah operators, including one from the Radwan force, surrendered to Sayeret Givati fighters in Bnei Jebel. According to the IDF, the operators engaged in a close-range battle with the Hezbollah terrorist squad, including a terrorist from the Radwan force unit in Bnei Jebel. The force sought contact and opened precise fire on the terrorists. At the end of the battle, 3 Hezbollah fighters threw down their weapons and surrendered to IDF. China's President Xi Jinping met with Russia's top diplomat Sergei Lavrov in Beijing on Wednesday. Discussions likely revolved around strategic cooperation, global security, and ongoing international conflicts. Speaking at the University of Mississippi during a Turning Point USA event on April 14th, J.D. Vance defended H-1B visa crackdown. Vance acknowledged problems in the visa system but also brought up his own family to make a broader point about immigration and identity. Bringing in his own life, Vance pointed out that he is married to a daughter of Indian immigrant. But for him, the larger point was about what comes after. He said that once someone becomes an American, their primary duty is clear. You have to think about the best interests of the country, not the one you came from beforehand. After President Donald Trump clashed with Pope Leo over the war in Iran, Vice President J.D. Vance said the leader of the Catholic Church should be careful when talking about theology. On April 14th, Vance told the audience in Georgia that he welcomed the Pope commenting on immigration and abortion. But Vance said the pontiff was wrong to say that political figures should never wield the sword because that would have opposed the US liberation of France and the Holocaust concentration camps during World War II. Thousands of Afghans gathered in the western city of Herat to hold a funeral for some of the 11 people killed by gunmen while they were on a picnic. The Afghan government said unidentified assailants rode on motorbikes to a recreational spot beside a Shia shrine on April 10th, killing people who had gathered there. Peruvian right-wing presidential hopeful Rafael López Aliaga called for the first round of the country's election to be annulled, alleging fraud without providing proof of his claim. López Aliaga is fighting an uphill battle against left-wing candidate Roberto Sanchez for second place in Sunday's election, which would give him a ticket to June's presidential runoff against conservative frontrunner Keiko Fujimori. The election held on Sunday and Monday was marked by logistical problems, but observers have said they saw no evidence of fraud. The 4 new fatalities raised the total death toll of the controversial military campaign to at least 174. The US military said that 4 people had been killed in a strike on another alleged drug trafficking boat, the 4th such deadly attack in as many days. US Central Command said in a post on X that the strike, just as the previous 3, occurred in the Eastern Pacific Ocean. The 4 new fatalities raised the total death toll of the controversial military campaign to at least 174, which is according to a tally compiled by AFP. 2 people were killed in a strike on Monday, while CENTCOM said 2 strikes on Saturday had killed 5 people and left 1 survivor. Former US President Joe Biden attended a ceremony at Syracuse University College of Law, during which his portrait, painted by American artist Michael Shane Neal, was unveiled. The 46th President of the United States graduated from the College of Law in 1968. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said he is worried about the US not being able to deliver enough interceptor missiles for Ukraine's air defenses as a result of the war in Iran. Zelensky made the comments alongside Norwegian Prime Minister Jonas Gahr Støre in Oslo after the two leaders signed a joint declaration on enhanced defense and security cooperation. Pope Leo celebrated Mass at the Basilica of St. Augustine in the Algerian city of Annaba. Faithful and residents gathered to welcome Leo and attend the Mass at the 19th century basilica overlooking the ruins of Hippo, which contains the relic of the saint. Bihar CM-elect Samrat Chaudhary will be sworn in today at 10:50 a.m. IST in Lok Bhavan, Patna. Two senior JDU leaders, Bijendra Prasad Yadav and Vijay Kumar Chaudhary, will be sworn in as Deputy Chief Ministers. Union Minister JP Nadda is likely to attend the oath-taking ceremony. A massive boiler explosion at a power plant in Chhattisgarh, India has claimed at least 14 lives and left dozens more injured. The incident, which took place yesterday, triggered a large-scale rescue operation as teams searched for survivors buried beneath the debris. Violent protests erupted in India's northeastern state of Manipur as police fired tear gas to disperse stone-pelting demonstrators. The unrest followed the deaths of two Meitei children killed in a bomb blast on April 7th at a house in Bishnupur district. Manipur has remained tense since ethnic clashes first broke out in May 2023 between the largely Hindu Meitei community and the mainly Christian Kuki tribes. The Geneva Watch Fair, the watchmaking industry's biggest annual showcase, opened with the impact of the West Asia war throwing up challenges for the luxury goods sector. Organizers are expecting around 60,000 visitors during the week, up from 55,000 last year, despite the West Asia war casting doubts on the travel plans of retailers from the Gulf states and East Asia. Researchers from the Federal University of Santa Maria in Brazil have identified a new 230 million years old reptile species with a parrot-like beak. The reptile was discovered in the southern state of Rio Grande do Sul. The reptile is estimated to have measured between 1.2 and 1.5 meters in length, with its distinctive pointed beak likely used for cutting plants and digging for roots. Preparing the fossil took more than 6 months as researchers carefully removed sediment from the skull's delicate tooth region, which holds the key features needed to identify the species at a taxonomic level. Amazon has announced an $11.57 billion deal to acquire Globalstar, boosting its satellite ambitions. The move is aimed at competing with SpaceX's Starlink, which dominates the market with over 9 million users. Globalstar currently operates about 24 of satellites, which Amazon will add to its existing network. The company plans to deploy over 3,200 satellites by the year 2029 as part of its Project Kuiper expansion. The deal also strengthens Amazon's direct-to-device technology, allowing mobile connectivity without cell towers. This will enable emergency services and connectivity in remote areas with limited network coverage. Amazon is targeting a 2028 rollout for its direct-to-device services. Google is facing a new lawsuit in the US over its Android app business. Portugal-based Aptoide accuses Google of blocking rival app stores. The case claims Google controls app distribution and billing, limiting fair competition. It also alleges Google pushes developers towards its own Play Store services, while the lawsuit seeks to stop these practices and demands damages. This adds to Google's legal pressure after a 2023 US ruling against its market practices. Google has also made changes following a case by Epic Games. A court in Milan has accepted a class action against Meta Platforms over a Facebook data breach. The case relates to a data scraping incident between 2018 and 2019. Around 533 million Facebook users globally were affected by the breach. In Italy alone, up to 35 million users have been impacted. The lawsuit has been filed by a consumer group seeking compensation for users. It claims users lost control of personal data, violating EU privacy rules. The case is based on the GDPR, which protects user data across Europe. Meta Platforms has denied any wrongdoing in the matter. Asian markets climbed to a 6-week high as optimism over renewed US-Iran talks boosted investor sentiment. Stocks tracked Wall Street gains as Nikkei rose over 1% and regional indices advanced broadly. Analysts say markets are looking past immediate tensions, betting on a diplomatic breakthrough, though risks to the global economy remain. Oil prices fell for a second straight day as hopes grew that US-Iran peace talks could resume, easing concerns over supply disruptions. Brent slipped to around $94, while crude dropped near $90 after sharp declines in the previous session. Optimism over diplomacy is weighing on prices, even as the Strait of Hormuz remains largely closed and oil flows stay restricted. Analysts say markets are balancing talk-driven optimism with ongoing supply uncertainty. Gold prices held firm near $4,840 an ounce after a 2.1% jump as optimism over renewed US-Iran talks eased inflation fears. Hopes of a negotiated settlement to the conflict are calming concerns over energy supply shocks, supporting bullion prices in early trade. The US dollar hovered near 6-week lows as optimism over renewed US-Iran talks boosted investor confidence. The euro and pound strengthened, while markets are shifting to a risk-on mood, with investors betting the conflict could ease through diplomacy even as the Strait of Hormuz remains disrupted. According to the International Monetary Fund, India's economy is projected to grow at 6.5% in financial year 27 despite tensions in West Asia. The forecasts for 2026 have been revised upward by 0.3 percentage points, supported by strong momentum from 2025 and a reduction in additional US tariffs on Indian goods from 50% to 10%. Well, that is it in this edition. News and updates will continue on the other side. Keep watching WION World is One.